What did I do?
Oh, I chose to go with Barbie instead of Ken. Tom's like, what?
It was kind of inspired by two different things kind of coming together. One was we had been talking about a smaller version of the TriStar. As that, we talked about it for years, and as those years went by, laptops kept getting thinner and thinner and smaller and thinner, to the point that, you know, that what you needed to create for a space for a laptop was relatively minuscule. That center compartment in the TriStar, to make it really useful and appropriate and also not overbearing in terms of taking up the space from either side, the other two side compartments, the starboard and port compartments, or front and back compartments. I wanted to figure out how to make that really small. And that was always stewing in the back of my mind. And then we developed a product that you can see online called the Stowaway, which was a bag not much different in size from what the TriStar ended up to be, that you unzipped completely and it's folded open like a clamshell, and that became the surface against your back as a backpack. So it was kind of like the Trinity in that it converted to a backpack. In making the Stowaway, we brought in from YKK zipper, number 10 zipper, with a really wide tape. The tape is the material on either side of the teeth of the zipper, and that allowed me to imagine making an incredibly thin main compartment. The inspiration was making something really compact that met pretty close to the maximum personal item size for United Airlines and other airlines too. Carried a laptop in the center, so it would be under your center of gravity when you're holding the thing at your side by the two handles, so the densest, heaviest thing is right under that, so the bag doesn't tilt one way or the other as you carry it. And also that as you load up your bag for the weekend or the week, you're filling it with probably clothes, and that's going to protect the laptop on those two sides. So the amount of protection that you need to build into the bag for the laptop can be relatively minimized. All of that sort of obvious part of the design concept. One of the things that we're known for, and that I've always been somewhat obsessed with, is kissing handles, so that when you go to pick up one of our bags, the handles, in this case there's two handles, there's not two handles that you have to fish for to grab the bag. Closing the bag, zipping the bag shut, pushes the handles together so that you grab them as one. And then we had a lot of fun making the front pockets and figuring out how to turn it into a backpack and how to make it have a rollerboard slot. There's a lot of things going on. Jose came along when it was stuck, said, let's finish this and make it a real thing. It was a very frustrating thing because I wanted to give every feature that we assumed people were going to ask for, which gets crazy. One of the things we're also known for as a company is restraint, of like going, yeah, we could add another pocket there, but we're not going to because it's just too much.
It was definitely a challenge. Just the first challenge that I had with the bag was receiving the pattern files from Tom. I got a dump of about 70 files, and I had to kind of go through them and make sure I had everything I needed to actually build a sample. So that was, step one. Step two was, after we had a sample that we could actually work from, was deciding on how to proceed, how we could construct the bag in a way that would make sense for us. We had to make some decisions as far as components that we could use. One of them was definitely the wider zipper tape at the laptop compartment. We had to pivot and use something else that would work for this new version of the bag, but ultimately, it was fun to pick up a project that Tom had put down and work on it and bring it to fruition, essentially. I wanted to make sure that we kept the features that were important and that I could tell Tom was very caring about, and we wanted to provide the customer with the features they needed and take away anything that didn't quite make sense or wouldn't add value to the product.
That was one of the features that we really wanted to incorporate in this bag, is shoulder straps that could tuck away. We also wanted them to be removable, which they are. We went through a number of iterations and Nick, the other designer, worked on it a bunch too, and we just weren't satisfied with anything, and I think we had just burned ourselves out on it.
When I picked up the project from Tom, I knew right away that the shoulder straps was a feature that I wanted to improve upon. So I knew that I wasn't going to be able to use the shoulder straps that you see on some of our other bags because of how the bag is built and the width of it. I had to come up with a new design that could fold easily, that provided enough support at the shoulders, and was also very packable and you could stow away. We wanted them to be removable because if you don't want to use the shoulder straps, that should also be an option. Once I figured out that this bag was a 3-in-1 bag, so a bag that can be carried 3 different ways, it became obvious to me how I should design the shoulder straps. The challenge for me once I picked up the project with the middle compartment was that we weren't going to be able to use the wider tape zipper. The wider tape zipper gave us the benefit of being able to make the middle compartment 1-inch width, which was great because it's a very thin compartment. You can fit laptops in it, but it required us to use this particular zipper. Once I had to pivot from that, I knew that I would have to use a zipper that we currently stock, which is a different width, which actually determined the new width of the middle compartment, which ended up being a bit wider than Tom's original vision. So with that, I had to make sure the other components in the bag worked with this new width of compartment and would work with the ultimate design and how it would look in the end.
Having just used Jose's prototype here, that the thickness of that compartment, that middle compartment, is really more of a function of how much stuff you put in the front and back or left and right compartments rather than its actual dimensions. Because whatever it is, it gets squeezed down to almost, you can squeeze it down to almost nothing. So whatever laptop you have, you're going to be able to slide in there and it's going to be held snugly.
And then we also added foam to the bottom so that we're protecting a person's laptop or electronic that's in there. I think the person that's going to enjoy this bag the most is a person that does some light travel and carries a laptop and electronics to support their work life or their fun times. A person that gets tired of holding the bag on the shoulder and wants to carry it with shoulder straps, and a person that perhaps doesn't want to use straps at all and just wants to carry it through the handles.
If you're traveling for 2 to 4 days and you know how to travel relatively light, you can definitely use this bag. I mean, I just spent a week living out of it. It was tight, but it was totally doable. One of the things that we always like to do in our travel bags is give people a place for shoes. The front compartment of the bag has a zip-away divider that you can easily put in a pair of shoes on one side or the other. We're looking at making a smaller version of the TriStar. So, there's 3 compartments, so 3 something, so we were kicking around different ideas. And this was all happening at the time that I was reading American Prometheus, which is the book about Oppenheimer, and the name Trinity kept coming up, of course, about Oppenheimer and his relationship to the name Trinity. I mean, we think of it as the test site. He had other meanings for it personally. And I was just having fun with that. It's nothing profound. It's not radioactive, it's just 3 compartments.
I'm just so happy to see the bag come to fruition. It was challenging at first, but it was also a very fun project and very fulfilling at the end, and I'm glad I got to work with you on it.
I'm so glad you're saying that. So I'm so happy it's done too. I mean, now they're out there and people will either love them or just really like them a lot. And it's great that it's done. Thank you.
Thank you.